The Jon Anik and Kenny Florian podcast. Jon Anik and Kenny Florian.
I f***ing love him. I can't get enough of him.
Let's hear that Boston next.
Big jab there from Duffy, and Frank Mir is hurt now. Down goes Duffy, out cold. Frank Mir does it again. Rock'em sock'em robots here. Oh my goodness.
Hyperbole. There are a couple of absolutely self-involved bull artists.
Here are your hosts, Jon Anik and Kenny Florian.
Headshot, bang.
All right, Wednesday, February 22nd, the year is 2023, episode 391 of the Anik and Florian podcast presented by DraftKings, and we are very happy to be joined by this man who I believe is now back home after a big win in his UFC debut. Lightweight hopeful Nazim Sadykhov, a few days removed from a win, and we appreciate your time today, sir. Congratulations. How you doing?
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. I'm feeling great. Still coming down from all the adrenaline, but I'm doing good.
So where do you live exactly? Do you live in New York?
Yeah, in Brooklyn. I'm at my family's right now. So we moved from Baku to Brooklyn.
And Baku is in Azerbaijan. When did you move to Brooklyn?
I moved some time ago. I moved when I was 7. When I was years old. Yeah, we came here a long time ago. Went to school and everything in Brooklyn. So I've been here for quite some time.
So I saw a video, I think UFC Fight Pass did a feature on you getting ready for Dana White's Contender Series where you went back to Baku and it was like you and your dad in the streets. Is he still there or is he with you in the States?
No, he's here. We just visit back home. We visit back. We still have family there, but it's like we're in the United States. We're based out of the United States.
Well, we can certainly tell by your English that you've been here for some time. All right, a lot of things I want to get into with you, and we are going to be joined by Ray Longo here probably on the back end of our time with you. But 8 straight wins after you beat Evan Elder via TKO, and a lot of people really feel like this win is going to age gracefully as well. A lot of people are still high on Evan Elder despite the loss. But you made your sort of first impression on Dana White and the brass in the same building. So I'm curious how this debut experience at the Apex was juxtaposed against Dana White's Contender Series last year in terms of the nerves, the fight week, and everything else.
Yeah, I actually wanted my first fight to be a little more with this format, just to handle business. I wanted my first fight just to go just like that. I didn't prefer to travel across the world for my debut. I wanted to be slightly more in the comforts of, in Vegas where Aljo and Maraba are all the time and all that stuff. But with that being said, no matter how comfortable you try to make it for yourself, you always have it deep in the back of your mind that those 3 letters, you're fighting for the UFC. So maybe, I don't know if nerves would be the way to call it, but I consider on myself that was slightly an off night for me just because I like to be more dominant. But let's give credit to my opponent because he was a very tough and smart fighter as well. So I can't really say because I wasn't dominant, it was an off night. Maybe it was just him. So I hats off to him. I'm just happy to put on a great show for the biggest promotion in the world, the best organization in the world. It's been a lifelong dream of mine, and you will see more. I guarantee you that.
Well, anyone who's listened to the Anik and Florian podcast over the years has heard Ray Longo talking about Nas before you got to the UFC, shouting you out before your regional fights. So none of our audience is surprised to see you eventually get to the big show and excel once you're there. Before we get into the fight itself, in terms of your timeline to get to the UFC, I guess if I speculate, it seems like maybe Ray Longo thought you would have gotten here a little bit sooner, but it seems like you're getting here at a pretty opportune time. How do you feel about your timeline and the timeline upon which you actually got to the big show relative to your expectations?
God has a plan for everybody, I don't have any regrets or any question about why I got to where I got to when it all happened for a reason, the way that it happened. And while I'm here, I'm going to make the absolute best of this time and give fans absolutely 100% of myself. So that's all that matters, really. It could have been later. It could have been earlier. My direction is always moving forward in 5th gear.
So a lot of people on social media were able to see Evan's reaction when he found out that he got the fight of the night bonus. I have to ask, when Jim Miller and Alexander Hernandez are fighting shortly after you guys fight, are you watching that fight? Are you wondering if the bonus is slipping through your fingers? Like, what is your thought process? Or are you even thinking about that? Or are you just so happy with the win and the debut?
Yeah, I was just happy with the win and the debut, and I was doing media. I saw parts of the fight on the TV screens throughout the building. I didn't really see the fight. I did talk to my manager, Danny Ruby. I did tell him, like, I think we got fight of the night. I don't think anybody's topping that. And then he was like, I don't know. We have to see. Hernandez and Miller was also crazy. So, yeah, I was just going to go ahead and enjoy the win anyway. But let me tell you, the bonus made things 1,000 times sweeter.
Yeah, I bet. All right, so let's get into it a little bit. The UFC debut against Evan Elder. Outstanding fight. And I really am excited to watch both of your respective careers here moving forward. But it's a doctor stoppage due to a knee strike that you landed. Now, at the post-fight press conference, you thought that you were being asked about a cut on yourself, right? And that was caused by a clash of heads. So let us all be clear. This is a TKO win because obviously this cut was caused by a knee strike. So now you've had about 100 hours to sort of ingest this result. What were your thoughts on sort of the knee strike that caused the cut and your performance as a whole?
Yeah, the third round, we come out and I know that I have to secure the round. I did not think I was down 2 rounds. I thought the second round was in my favor. The fact that all 3 judges, I found out that all 3 judges had it in Evan Elder's favor 2-zip going into the third. I was very surprised, but nonetheless, whether I won the second round or not, my goal was to get a finish. Getting off that stool into the third round, my goal was to get a finish. So everything I was throwing had fight-ending intention. So that knee that I landed, it happened to give him a fight-ending cut. As soon as I saw it, you can see, you guys can watch back the fight. I continued working on it. I believe I landed another left, and then I landed a left head kick right into that cut. So I recognized the cut. I knew it was bad. I even heard the ref tells commission. He looks over to the commission. He goes, "Cut deep." Those 2 words. So I knew that cut was dangerous. I didn't know if it was going to be stopped or not.
Yeah.
But as soon as the ref stops the action, I knew that they were going to take a look at the cut, whether they were going to stop it or not. I wasn't relying on the fact that they were going to stop it. I was going to keep going, keep pushing, but they stopped it. So I take my win as it is, TKO via fight-ending cut. The guy's artery was sticking out. You guys saw the photos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There was no accident. There was no headbutt. It was an intentional knee that I was looking to send his head into the lights on the ceiling. So, yeah,
you were.
I just made a mistake with the headbutt. I have a cut that he gave me. I got a couple of stitches.
There you go. Little souvenir.
Yeah, that was unintentional on his end, but yeah, that's the headbutt I was talking about.
Right. UFC lightweight Nazim Sadykhov joining us here on the Anik Florian podcast. So I meant to look up the scorecards actually before I sat down with you today. So you're telling me that you were down 2-0 on all 3 judges' scorecards going into that third and final round.
Yes. That's what they told me at the post-fight presser.
The fight was close, but that surprises me, to be sure. Are you a proponent of open scoring?
I actually, to be honest with you, Jon, I don't know what that is. Like, are we going to see the cards? Are we going to see the results on the screen or something like that?
Yeah, so here's my issue with it, right? So, yes, so basically you and your coaches and all the fans would get to see the scorecards after each round, right? Now, the issue, I think, for me is that it effectively changes the sport. And in a 3-round fight, if a fighter is up 2-0, then Evan Elder in this situation can get on his bicycle in theory and try to avoid you for 5 minutes and still win the fight, right? Go ahead. Talk to me.
Yeah, I was just going to let you finish. If you want to finish, go ahead, Jon. I didn't mean to.
No, please. By all means. Yeah. I want to hear what you have to say.
I don't agree with that because that is not only is that a possibility that people are going to start getting on their bikes and stuff, but it's going to be a probability. Like, people will start turning this into like a points fighting sport. And this sport it's a savage sport. We get cuts, there's knockouts, there's broken limbs and everything. You have to fight to the finish. You have to go forward. You have to try to get your win. This would not be the first time where I lost maybe a round and then ended up getting a finish in the third. Like I said, this is my fourth out of 9 pro fights. This was my fourth. So 8 wins and 4 of those are third round finishes. So half of my wins are third round finishes. If I believe that's accurate. Anyways, pushing to the end, man. If you have the open scoring, then there's going to be takedowns and laying praise after a solid 2 rounds. Like, me and Evan didn't know what was happening. I'm sure his corner maybe told him like, yo, you won the first, second was close, or you won the second, whatever. So he had to fight in the third, and we were going to fight in the third. If you tell me it's 2-zip, you're winning, just move, go for the takedown, control him on the cage, then as a fighter, you're going to go out there and do that. So the excitement aspect of the sport, I think the open scoring would like diminish it a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I also feel like it's a little bit of a mind fuck. Right now, I'm not sitting here suggesting that you dominated rounds 1 and 2, but you certainly thought of those 6 scorecards that were submitted, right, that you won either round 1 or round 2. So it can be a little bit of mind fuck for the athlete. I also feel like if you're Leon Edwards back in August in Salt Lake City, Utah against Kamaru Usman, and you look up and you know you're going to lose the fight, then the crowd is getting on you like, man, he knows he's down. He's still not doing anything. And then the commentators are getting on you even more. I just think it puts undue pressure on the athlete. I can understand proponents of open scoring, but I think it causes more issues than it solves. But that's neither here nor there. And we talk about guys like Marlon Chito Vera and Billy Quarantello and Nazim Sadykhov getting guys out of there in that third and final round. Huge feather in your cap. And I think it's something that you're going to be able to lean on going forward, just being able to outlast guys. Now, it looked to be a tough fight physically. So when we had Matt Frivola, your longtime friend and training partner, on, he doesn't seem to be physically the type of guy that can take short notice opportunities at 56, right? Even if they're high profile. I know you're laughing. So you're a pretty big, muscled guy yourself. I guess I'm just curious, like, what is your timeline for getting back in there? And what is your ability to take a fight on short notice, especially one that's higher profile than maybe one that you might get in a natural matchmaking progression?
I always thought that I'm going to be a fighter that takes short notice no matter what. But I think the best, if you want the best out of me, give me the date, give me the camp. I'm that type of fighter. I strive for that, that excellence, like that perfect, how should I put it? I just, that type of fighter that is like any week, any day, like that will take the sport aspect out of it for me. Like, I am already a guy that comes forward and I'm ready to take damage and this and that, but that does need preparation to be able to endure. My type of style, it needs preparation to be able to endure. With that being said, I don't see myself never taking a short notice fight. I do see myself taking some sort of big opportunity, saving a card, entertaining fans on the short notice of what they thought was going to be, a fight lost, but saving a card, saving a fight or something. So I definitely see myself doing that in the future. I just don't know how soon. I don't know if that would be the next move. I do want to settle and get going, get prepared for my next fight really well so I can show an even better display.
No, it's a great answer. It's a great answer. Nazim Sadykhov with us here on the Anik Florian podcast, and it gives us great pleasure to now bring in your chief corner and longtime coach, Ray Longo. Finally got Nas in the UFC, and 50K.
Unbelievable.
About it, huh? You got to be pretty proud, Raymond.
What a performance, no?
Amazing.
And I love the way he speaks really well. I'm still learning, you know what I mean? But he speaks well. I love the way he answered the last question. I think it's accurate for who he is. He likes his preparation the way he likes it to go. But I think the longer he fights and he stays in shape, he'll be ready for those short notice fights. He could definitely do it talent-wise, but, I think, like he says, he likes to go forward, and that does take a certain type of preparation. So, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Come on.
Congrats to you as well, Ray.
Who would have thought it? Who would have thought this?
Ha!
We worked for it. Like you said in 2018, this guy's next up on the wall.
I tell you that wall's a big motivator, John. I got to say.
Well, and no non-UFC fighter got more mentions on this show pre-UFC than Nazim Sadykhov. So obviously he's here now. I have a couple more questions for you, and I'm glad that Ray is here for them, and then we'll get you out of here. So you referenced these puke drills. What are these puke drills? Raymond making you guys work hard and throwing up in training? What's going on?
Ray, you want to tell them the backstory of puke drills? Why was it puke drills? I wonder. They were puking, right?
I probably stole the name from somebody, but it's really let's just say the hostess. Oh, sorry about that. I was reading something. It's really just a combination of the hitting and the wrestling, and it really depends on the mix of guys you put into the drill. That really, if you got two fresh wrestlers, it's like a Shark Tank with the hitting also. So you could adjust the volume and the intensity by who's holding and who you have in there to wrestle against. And it's 30-second goes back and forth. Sometime minute goes. We'd switch it up depending on what the guy needs in the camp. And again, if you get two really good wrestlers in there, you're going to work. I'll tell you one funny story about the puke drill is I used Aljo one time for Marab. Marab was doing the puke drill, and Aljo's the guy that got tired. I go, this is the first time a guy helping out has gotten tired. He broke it. He broke everybody down. Does that make sense to you, right? After knowing Marab.
Yeah, just flowing with Marab, just like a light spar, is a puke drill in and in itself.
I bet.
You saw Kevin James did an interview with Weidman where, we used to run, Chris used to run, I guess, like an MMA class, but Kevin would jump in. But he said that Marab didn't know he wasn't a fighter. He just started attacking him.
So, Nazim, your gym wars with Matt Frivola are pretty legendary, but I'm curious how you navigate this changing landscape with Aljamain Sterling and Merab Dvalishvili splitting time between Vegas and the East Coast. And how do you navigate all of that? I know you have spent some time in Las Vegas, but how have you sort of handled that dynamic as you got ready for your debut?
You mean the switches just going back and forth to Vegas?
Yeah, I'm curious how, and I know for Ray, it's been a navigation that he's had to sort of adjust at times. How are you dealing with that?
I think like Aljo and Merab kind of have like a little blueprint going for this perfect balance of Vegas and New York. Like we do our camps in New York, and then like for me, for example, I just go there for a few weeks at a time. Maybe this next camp I'll be able to stay there for longer, and then for the final phase of camp, which we call 6 to 8 weeks, I'll be back in New York. So it's like a good balance. It's a good mix up. The time difference doesn't really mess with me. It's only better when you're on East Coast time and then you go over to Vegas and then you have like 3 extra hours in the day. It'll be like 3 a.m. in the East Coast, but it's only 12 in Vegas. So you're only going to bed at 12 in Vegas, but you got so much more done, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
of course.
As long as everything is like, if you communicate everything, as long as you're doing everything the right way and not just doing your own thing, being your own captain, as long as you listen to Chief Commander, everything is going to be good.
All right, before I let you go, perhaps the timeline for you is going to be June, right? Do you just entrust in Danny Rube to get you a fight? Are you someone who is actively going to try to handpick a name or two? Who do you think will be next, and are you willing to try to name out there before we let you fly?
I'll definitely be looking for something. If I see an opportunity, I'll definitely call for it. You'll definitely hear me on social media. But at the moment, I just want to recover and get back to training and get better. Like take like a good 2 months without the training camp pressure, and then just get better, sharpen up, and then do a 6 to 8 week camp and be ready to go. So I'm thinking like you gave a great timeline. I think May, June would be perfect. If I get a date on May, June, that'd be perfect for me.
Well, I hope they call my number and I get a chance to call your fight one of these days. Nazim Sadykhov, Congrats on a big win in the debut, buddy. We'll be tracking your progress for sure, and we look forward to the encore. Appreciate a few minutes today, sir.
So much.
Hey,
thank you.
And congrats again, Naz. Wait, real quick, did he clear up the headbutt thing? Because I've been seeing a lot of that on.
Yes, we cleared it up, and we're gonna make sure to repurpose some of the video today. Yes, he cleared that up though. Yeah. If you do follow Naz, you can find him on Instagram. He cleared all that up.
Perfect.
Today.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
My man.
Thank you, brother.
See you.
I'll give you a buzz later, buddy.
Good.
Take care.
Good.
Hopefully he doesn't screen that phone call later when Ray Longo calls. One of the few phone calls I never screen. Ray Longo never gets screened. Cody Merrow never gets screened. Zach Candido never gets screened. There's a very short list of guys who never get screened. Congratulations, man. Did you know he was down 2-0 on all three judges' scorecards?
No, definitely. Yeah, no, I thought, look, first off, a couple of things. What a great fight. Two tough guys. Oh. Big fan of Evan Elder now. I'm happy that they got the bonus because I would have hated to see either one of those guys go home with whatever money they made just to show up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really happy they both. I mean, what a back and forth battle, man. But I think I told them in between rounds. I go, I have it 1-1, but I really don't know. Like it was that close. I couldn't say. It was 1-1. I said, I think you're up 1-1. And those fights get emotional for me now. I'm not really, it wasn't going the exact way I thought it was going. Although when I re-looked at it, I thought, there was a lot of good things. There's a lot of things he could tighten up, but he's super talented.
Yeah.
That other kid, Evan Elder, man, he just brought it in a different way. I really underestimated it. I guess I looked at the last fight when he fought up at 70. Mm-hmm. I'll never do that again because that kid was on his way to winning with the judges' scorecards. But no, I didn't see it like that. But it is what it is. I don't think I could. At the present moment, it was close, man. I didn't like the knockdown in the first. That even though it really was like a flash. He's up. He's still calling the guy in. I know the way the optics looked,
sure.
And he got taken down, got held against the cage for a little bit. He took that guy down, but couldn't really hold him down, couldn't control him. I don't know. It was just too close. I mean, I did tell him he had to finish the fight at the end of the second round. That's the only way to do it.
Right. And he certainly did that and took matters into his own hands. Now, he did say with me a few minutes before you came on that he threw everything with fight-ending intentions, and that seemingly is his style. Now, you have plenty of fighters who don't throw everything with fight-ending intentions. So I wonder where you fall on that and how sustainable that is. To me, he looks like he's really long on potential and can absolutely, eventually be a top 15 fighter, if not legitimate title contender. But, it seems like his style is a little bit throw caution to the wind at times.
I put him more. I'll tell you where he's going to end up. I think he's going to end up like a boxer punch. Like a boxer punch. He's pretty slick. You could see at times he showed really nice angles, and he's light on his feet. He gets in and out quick. So I think the jitters maybe got him a little bit, but if you look at some of his techniques, they were beautiful. He wasn't countering as quick as he could have. So I think you're going to see. You'll definitely, he's not a brawler. He can be a brawler, but he's not a brawler.
Yeah.
I think Frivol is more of he's going to throw caution to the wind.
Right.
If he gets back to he's throwing.
Right.
There's no,
right.
You couldn't take that out of him. I'm trying, and I think we've gotten him a little better, but, he's more of a guy throwing caution to the wind. Naz is calculated, that's why I was trying to say in this fight. And when I talked to him after the fight, I said, look, I don't want to, I'm just want to be I just want to get you better. He's like, look, I raise a high bar for myself. There's nothing you could say that is going to mean, is going to make me feel bad. So I love his attitude now, man. He speaks well.
Oh yeah.
I think he gets it. He is a tough critic on himself. And as long as he gets the right work, I mean, you're going to see him. He's going to get better and better because he's got way better head movement than he showed. He's got way better defensive skills than he showed. That's what I'm trying to say. So, he could have landed, I think, some of those shots and gotten out of the way without getting hit. And I think that's where I'm coming from, and I already looked at the fight like 5 times. There's a bunch of things that he could do just to tighten up because he's super, super talented.
Yeah.
So, And that other kid is, man, like, again, I'm a big fan of his too. These guys are both good. Shout out to Henry Hoof, one of my favorite guys. So, all good.
So when we had Matt Frivola on the program, his dad, Sal, was quick to let us know that on Tapology, Matt was number 29 in the world. And I guess this is neither here nor there, but Nazim Sadykhov, number 81 right now in terms of the lightweights. The list obviously is a little bit all over the place. It crosses promotions. Alexander Volkanovski right now is the number 65 ranked lightweight in the world, but I did think it was interesting to see where Naz falls there. You know, think he could get a Jim Miller, Clay Guida type next, potentially get a big name, you know, on a different stage of their career. But, yeah, well, we're happy for you, man. I mean, when you talk about the wall, the famous wall at Longo Weidman MMA there in Garden City, New York, that boasts the likes of Chris Weidman and Matt Serra and Aljamain Sterling, like when you say to Nas, like, you're going to be next, like, you don't just trot that out there to everybody who walks in the gym. I mean, that's pretty lofty praise.
Yeah, definitely.
So sounds to me like you feel like this kid's ceiling is pretty damn high.
Yeah, definitely not. You got to remember, too, the wall, like, I think what people still don't get, man, is we're just a small gym. We're like 5,500 square feet. People got 20,000, 30,000 square foot gyms. It's just, that's what makes the wall special to me. You know what I mean? It's not, I tell you, I probably have half the number of students you think I have in that gym. You know what I mean? So that's, again, people look at like big deal. It is a big deal for all of these guys, man. Even like, you know, all the Long Island guys, Aljo, Weidman, you know, Matt. I mean, they all live, you know, right next to each other. To me, it's crazy. But it could be, you know, I'm 100% biased, like everybody accuses me of being. So, but, you know, it's a big deal to get on that wall. And it was started with, you know, the Luke Cuomos, the Dragos. You know, you got some history there. And then you got Frivola, Marab. You know, it's great, man. It's a great incentive, and right now you got people in Bellator and some of the local kickboxing champs. They want their own wall.
Oh, I bet they do. Yeah.
So we have to. I think we got to do something, you know. But that wall is held up so special to get in the UFC that I think it's a big thing. It means a lot. We have a lot of fun with that, you know. And again, even with Aljo, man, I didn't put his picture up on that, you know, with Weidman and Matt until he had that first title defense, and I love the guy. I literally love the guy. He's a fucking great guy, but I just wanted him to earn it the right way, and I think he got respect back from everybody. I think I love the way he handled that situation. So there's a lot of history with the wall, and we have a lot of fun. You know, we leave open spaces. Who's going to be the next guy? And I think it gives them incentive. You know, Bazooka's been dying to get up there. Now he's probably the next guy. So it's fun. It's motivating. And to us in the gym, it means a lot.
And I can say objectively, as an unbiased party, Dennis Bazooka is just criminally underappreciated, and I look forward to seeing him get his flowers. I want to talk about Aaron Blanchfield a little bit, if I could, and then I can circle to Merab, and obviously the big announcement for Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo May 6th at a location to be determined. All right, so Valentina Shevchenko is defending her belt against Alexa Grasso here in less than 2 weeks on March 4th. And Aaron Blanchfield did everything in her power to steal a lot of that thunder. And we talked about this earlier this week on our first episode of the Anik Florian podcast. We'll talk about it again as we get ready for UFC 285 next week. But your thoughts on Aaron Blanchfield? Obviously, she trains in New Jersey. You have followed her career. And, man, is she all the rage here a few days after a big win in the main event?
Totally blown away by her performance. Again, I think her mindset is her best attribute at this point. Man, cold-hearted, I think is a great name. She
cold-blooded,
really cold-blooded.
Yeah,
cold-hearted
works too. I don't know that she's
but just the confidence and and you know, she's got the chops to back it up now. I mean, she stood in the pocket with Andrade, and she got what she wanted eventually. So I think. I'm intrigued. I mean, I love it. She really kind of, not totally, but she reminds me kind of like Weidman. They're coming up and they get those certain fights where you could go right or left, and they always go the right way. You know what I mean? This was a big fight. She took that on last minute to have Andrade thrown at you. I mean, you know, I don't know. So I think she's just unfazed by everything, and I love her attitude. And she has been in the gym a couple of times. She used to come in, spar Mizuki, very quiet. I don't even know if I've said a word to her during the sparring. Her coach, another guy, very humble guy. They come from a small camp, which I love. They got, that camaraderie of smallness, which I think people totally underestimate.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks bigger is better. But I got to tell you, I didn't even see it coming when she used to spar Mizuki and whoever else she sparred in the gym. But wow, I'm so happy for that kid, because she seems like a really nice young lady. She's always personable, and again, I think she handles herself perfect on the mic, and it's all confidence for the right reason. So I'd love to see that fight.
And I think your Chris Weidman comparison is an appropriate one, not even in terms of the ability, right? Just in terms of the ability to apply knowledge, to get that knowledge from elite parties and immediately or pretty quickly thereafter incorporate it into your game. All right, go ahead.
And John, and to be able to dictate where that fight's going too. And when they get it there, remember Weidman was just hammer people. He had a couple of good knockouts too. The Munoz knockout, I think, put him on the map, which was beautiful. That elbow, just a great, I don't know. I mean, that was a really good moment against a guy that was making waves. Right. So kind of similar. I don't know. I feel for some reason that's what I felt. I watched that fight live that night and I go, wow, this kid's special. I mean, plus she's so young. She could trip and fall a couple of times. It's not going to matter if she keeps growing. Yeah. So I think that's why she's more dangerous than anything. Yeah. She could take risks, and she deserves to have those opportunities now. And all she has to do is, if she doesn't win, use them as learning experiences. She's only going to be better, and she's got plenty of time. All
right, so there's a hamster on the side of the octagon, and you have a chance with a correct answer to save this hamster's life. Okay, Valentina Shevchenko's in the octagon. There's a fucking hamster sitting next to me and Joe Rogan. Okay. You got to send one woman in there to beat Valentina Shevchenko to save the hamster's life. Okay. And I'm going to give you choices, okay? Yeah. You could send Zhang Weili in there, even though she's down a division, okay? You could send Alexa Grasso in there. We're going to see that in a couple weeks. You could send Tyler Santos in there. She fought her to a split decision last June. You can send Manon Fior in there, seemingly the next contender. Or you can send Erin Blanchfield in there. Now, perhaps there's a recency bias, but the overwhelming majority of our listeners and viewers, when given the opportunity to save a hamster's life, they're sending Erin Blanchfield in there. And I do think, by and large, people are sleeping on Alexa Grasso. But I do think it's not crazy that much of the fan base believes right now that the flyweight on the roster best equipped to beat Valentina is, in fact, Erin Blanchfield. Who are you going with?
Oh, I'm 100% going with Erin Blanchfield. 100%.
All right.
Again, she has the ability to dictate where that fight's going. That's so far. So who wouldn't want to see the grappling exchanges? We've seen Valentina struggle a little bit. Even Valentina's, first off, is an assassin. This isn't a knock on her, but I'd love to see Blanchfield. I just like her attitude, John. She believes it. She wasn't even Andrade, after what she did to Laura Murphy, could have been intimidating. There was just none of that. That's why, again, that's why I said the thing with Weidman. He was unfazed by everything. We'd look at a fight and he'd go, "Oh, I could beat that guy." And that was it. We wouldn't even game plan. I go, "Really?" I mean, we just, what are you seeing? He was that confident coming up, right? And that's what I see in her. And I think I'd love to see her get that opportunity. And that's it, man. Yeah, I take her out of anybody now. I think she's got the momentum. She's on a roll. I love Alexa Grasso. Is a great fighter too. I'm excited for that fight. But Grasso came up from 15, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Blanchfield. I think Erin puts her on her back pretty quickly.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. March 11th is fastly approaching. Petr Yan and Merab Dvalishvili, the men on the marquee in Las Vegas. So I'd imagine Merab is in Las Vegas for the duration at this point, about 17 days out or so.
No, he was there for the whole camp. In response to your question to Nas, I got to tell Aljo, you got to, I think his buddy, you got to stop poaching the guys to go out there. I mean, it looks like, look, I'm getting older, but everybody's going to end up out there, I think. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, there are a few things at play. right? I mean, the time zone, the weather, the UFC PI. Just start with those three things.
Yeah, right. So it's very intoxicating for these guys for the reasons you just said. I think if they got enough guys out there, Aljo could like run everything probably out of the PI because they have access to it. I think that would be their best bet. But these are young guys that, you know, you can't hold them back. Look, I said this 100 times. It has nothing to do with, like, I'm always going to be happy for the guys. I'm not happy about it, but I have to be happy for them. It's like when my kids move out, my daughter moved out. Like, I'm happy for her, but you miss having your kids around, no? I mean, so
I can't relate to missing having my kids around right now.
It'll get there eventually, but I'm with you on that.
I'm sitting here praying that the oldest one doesn't go to Florida Atlantic University right down the street and live at home. You got to get out of here, Riley.
We'll get her at NYU. Don't worry about it.
All right, a couple other things.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that, John. That's I mean, it's more, you just miss everybody. It's good having those guys around the gym. I miss Aljo and Marab.
I'm sure. All right, another thing going down on March 11th, and speaking of guys that you miss seeing in the gym, Chris Weidman in a grappling contest with Owen Livesey live on UFC Fight Pass. To what degree is that on your radar, Raymond?
Oh, I'm 100% on the radar.
So you're going to watch that maybe before Mayrab or after, or whenever?
Yeah, whenever we get a chance, 100%. You know?
All right.
100%.
Go ahead, please, by all means.
No. That's it.
Next item.
I mean, you got a whole list here. You're you're a little curt today, no?
A little curt today. If you really want to know, bro, know, I think I have pink eye in both of my eyes right now.
I can't see.
Well, no, I popped my lenses in right before the show, but it's been absolutely brutal. My eyes have been bleeding. So got a couple of kids home sick, and as soon as we're done, I'm actually going straight to the doctor to see if we can get these eyes right, because I got a pay-per-view Cannonball coming. But next on my list, yes, is Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo, May 6th, live on pay-per-view. We just don't have a location. What can you tell us?
I
don't want you to reveal the location, even if you're hearing rumors. I just want to hear your thoughts on the date, the opponent, and everything else.
Love it. Love everything about it. I even love the location I'm hearing.
Yeah, I think we're hearing the same location.
I tell you who doesn't love it. Aljamain Sterling.
Oh, really?
I'm like, buddy, we got you back in the gym. Those guys, they love. Oh yeah, I love it. Oh no, I called him yesterday with Pumi Nakuda. We were just busting his balls. We're so happy. I got you back. You're not going anywhere.
That's right. So some rumblings as to that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's what I'm down to, John. I'm down to tricking my guys back in the gym.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like May 6th is going to be Las Vegas, but we'll see.
Who knows, though? Who knows? Yeah. But I hope whatever I'm hearing comes true. But he's 100% not happy about it.
Competitive fight. A lot of people like the matchup for Henry compared to, say, the way Aljamain Sterling might match up to Sean O'Malley or Marlon Cheeto Vera. I'm seeing Aljo in some spots minus 120 as a slight betting favorite. Most places don't have a betting line out just yet. I haven't seen one on DraftKings Sportsbook. But what are your thoughts on the matchup?
I like the match. Look, Henry, is there a better competitor than him? I don't know. So I like the height differential and the length differential. I think that'll play a big part in the fight. It's a good fight. It's going to be a great fight. You know, I don't know. I like it. Unless you have any specific questions.
No, I mean, I think it's obviously a great opportunity to build his legacy. I think when we were polling people about who they would get more excited about, Henry Cejudo or Sean O'Malley, I feel like the public was pretty split, you know? But there are, you know, I think it's interesting for Cejudo. Obviously, he has the resume to come back and essentially cut the line, you know, even though you certainly can argue that Sean O'Malley and Cheeto Vera right now are in a meritocracy ready for a championship opportunity. But yeah, I just think it's interesting because I do think, at least from a betting perspective, that this is going to be the most competitive on paper, that Aljamain Sterling would be a bigger favorite against Sean O'Malley and Marlon Cheeto Vera than he would be here. So good for you guys taking the most difficult fight, at least seemingly on paper.
without a doubt. You know, I like the fact that Henry hasn't fought in a couple of years too, so maybe that plays into it a little bit. He's getting how old is Henry now?
Mid-30s, I think.
Do we know? Oh, mid-30s. Yeah, look, that's a tough fight. You know, I'm excited. I looked at Henry yesterday. I started breaking down the tapes because I did have the conversation with Aljo about,
it's pretty short. It's pretty short. Just kidding. He's 36.
He's got a big head, though.
Does have a big melon. 36 years old.
Big noggin.
As of February 9th, so just a couple of weeks ago. And right now, yes, Henry Cejudo, even money, the underdog on DraftKings Sportsbook, and minus 120 for Aljamain Sterling. All right, very interesting. Last thing, we just wanted to check in on your health because we did notice on the wide shot a little bit of a Longo limp en route to the octagon there with Nazim Sadykhov.
You know, it's funny. I've been limping for 4 years now.
Well, no, and we've seen sometimes the declines can be tough, but
the declines are no. Going up, there's absolutely no problem. No, the declines. If I make Frivola go down first. I hold his back as I'm coming down. I could get that. I just want to get down quick, and I don't want to, break a leg as I'm going down. Now I'm going to have to address this thing. I got a PRP shot in my hip. I expected a little more out of it. I didn't get really what I wanted. So,
all right.
When the guy saw the X-ray, he wasn't too happy about it.
Right. Well, we hope you get that right. And nice little coin flip there. We're not printing the shirts like the Longo limp, even though we know they would sell. We're not printing those shirts. We're only printing positivity.
Listen, I feel bad because I think people feel bad for me. I swear, I 100% feel great. I really do. I feel mentally, I feel good. My hip is shot, but I do work out every day.
Yeah, no, I know.
I get around it, but I think my kid, it kills everybody looking at me except for me. Right. So, but it's starting to catch up to me a little bit now. I got to really address it.
All right. Well, we're here for you. We're certainly here for you much more than those extra rounds, folks. And by the way, if those producers are listening, we have sent Ray a new contract. We have raised his rate in 2023. And these are facts here. We don't spit an opinion on the Anik and Florian podcast. Ray Longo will make more money on the Anik and Florian podcast in 2023 than he has made in any year prior. And this podcast is about to celebrate its 8-year anniversary. So we're moving in the right direction.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, Kenny didn't show up today, but you had to deal with me.
Even with Pink Eye, you were dying. You saved that for the end.
It's so funny because I dealt with some sad news last night, and so I came out of my office and I had been crying a little bit, and so my daughters are very in tune with my emotions, and so they looked at my eyes. I said, "I'm not stoned, I'm a little sad, right?" And they were very doting and hugging on me, and then I went and looked in the mirror. And I was like, man, your eyes look swollen, bro. Like, not just from crying about your friend. Like, your eyes look swollen. And I think I got fucking conjunctivitis in both of my eyes. So as soon as we're done popping these contact lenses out, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. Need some drops.
Got to be careful with the contact lenses. But isn't it nice to have your kids so comfy in those times? How old are you now again?
I am 44.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say another couple of years, man, you're going to just start crying out of nowhere.
Dude,
I mean,
I'm already there.
I watch a movie now. I don't even know what I'm crying about. I'm like something. I remember Sarah calling me up. He goes, "What? Did you start crying at a certain point?" I go, "Oh, yeah, 100%." I just all the time. I look at a movie, I just can't. I feel like when I'm looking at a movie and I can't help somebody, it just causes so much internal frustration. I start crying. I want to kill I don't know. It's weird. I either want to kill somebody or I just start crying. I don't know. Well, I'm crying all the time. If it helps you, if that makes you feel any better, I'm always crying at this point.
You're a supporter. Dominic Cruz would classify you as a supporter, and it's a good thing to be. But yeah, dude, it happened for me probably 4 or 5 years ago where I just cry at the drop of a hat. Like, I'm watching fucking kids baking championship, right? And they send a kid home, I'm crying. The kid advances, I'm crying. It doesn't even matter. They compliment the kid's dish, and she goes to the back, and I'm crying, and I'm trying to hide it from my daughters. Yeah. So
isn't that crazy? Yeah, that is crazy. But you don't want to see especially with a kid, you don't want to see a kid get hurt. Or I think what I'm feeling is that maybe they have to deal with that for the rest of their life. It's brutal, but you're a human being. You know what I mean? What do you?
I felt like it started to happen with Joe Rogan several years ago, where a lot of things would trigger his emotions on broadcast, and then the Jens Pulver thing had me in tears, I don't think that would have jerked tears out of me a few years ago. So I do think a lot of it comes with age and procreation. I mean, if there's anything father-daughter, father-son related in a movie or TV show, fucking Waterworks, you know?
Oh, my God. Yeah. And plus, you don't want to see even your own kids as they get older or they're having a rough day at school. That's just, that stuff is brutal. Yeah. It's actually brutal. Look, parenting is definitely by far the hardest thing anybody could ever do. There's no, I mean, if you're trying to do it the right way, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah. I mean, highest of highs and lowest of lows, kind of like mixed martial arts. All right. Well, hey, we appreciate your fitness in midweek. Obviously, we'll be back on Monday with our UFC 285 preview, and I'll already be in Las Vegas. But congrats on a big win, man. You know, I don't say lightly that Nazim Sadykhov has gotten a lot of pub on this podcast, and you're fucking lucky he delivered, candidly, because you mentioned his name about 100 times.
No, he's going to keep delivering. I didn't realize he had that good of a chin. He took some shots and he didn't even waver. So really super happy for him. But I just don't want to see him take those shots at this point because he doesn't have to. He's not. That's why I say he's not that guy. Yeah. He has great head movement and great angles. So that's what we'll talk about. But listen, get those eyes fixed. Get the contacts out immediately.
Thank you, buddy.
And get to the doctor. Get some drops. They'll clear that up in no time.
I will. And speaking of head movement, get your melanon out of here. The Ray Longo minute every week.
Getting my hair cut today.
Are you?
100%.
Oh man, I think you've hit that time where it's a necessity. So have him take off a little bit more this time, so you can go more time between haircuts. High and tight.
I'm good for 3 weeks. I'll talk to you later.
All right, get out of here. Ray Longo minute every week.
Feel better.
Thank you, buddy, on the Anik and Florian podcast. All right, we will be back with you on Monday. Don't forget, we're doing 2 episodes a week throughout 2023 at the very least. So next week, full preview and predictions for UFC 285, Jones versus Gane, which of course is coming up March 4th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Brian Petrie and Kemflo will be back. And we will also have another episode later in the week. Both of those, at least from my end, will originate live from Las Vegas. Thanks to our guest, Nazim Sadykhov, and of course, Ray Longo. Our executive producer is Cody Merrow. Don't forget, full-length episodes now on the video side of the Anik and Florian podcast are yours on the DraftKings YouTube channel. We kindly ask that you subscribe and like our videos, and they will populate like hell on your YouTube stream. So thank you all for the support, and we will talk to you on Monday. Until then, be well, be safe. See you later.